I am continuing my MASH retro reviews with Season 1, Episode 11, Germ Warfare. I have to say, I think this might be actually the funniest episode so far of my rewatch. Okay, Yankee Doodle Doctor was definitely funny. It actually might be the truly funniest, but this is I think I laughed the most in this episode so far, of course. There's some pretty funny ones later on too. But this is almost what I would say is peak early MASH. No, you have Hawkeye and Trapper being the leads, and then the jokes revolving around them making fun of Frank in some form or just Frank's actions. But the plot of the episode, there's a POW, a no screen POW specifically. Hawkeye wants to continue monitoring him because he's a patient who's been injured, and Frank wants to send him off. So Hawkeye gets permission to have him stay for a little bit longer, the POW that is, to say from Henry, and though the POW needs some blood, so in the middle of the night, they draw some blood from Frank without his consent. Which does lead to some problems, because the patient develops hepatitis, so they're like, we gotta make sure it didn't come from Frank, even though less than a day is normally not how long it takes for it to spread, is what they said. I don't know medically how accurate that is, but okay. Or for symptoms to develop, I should say. But still, better safe than sorry, which is the right thing to do. Yes, there's some medical ethics questions, drawing blood before someone's consent and all that, but at the same time, they do the right thing of, let's test Frank to make sure that there is nothing. So, one mistake there, but then they also do show, proper ethics and, hey, we're going to make sure he's healthy, even though we don't like him, but it also may get him out of the unit, which probably also helps them make up their mind. But also, they also make sure that he doesn't accidentally spread hepatitis if he does have it. So there's some things like, sure, they want to get rid of Frank, but they are still, they do want to care about his health to a certain extent. They are doctors after all, and the health of everyone else in the camp, so they are being cognizant of that. But they don't have enough blood left to do a blood test for hepatitis, nor do they want to go in another night to draw some more blood. Yeah, because that probably wouldn't be great. So what they do, they get Frank to drink some beer because apparently he can't hold it, and then they close the tree so he has to go in a bucket so they can send the bucket of his urine to Seoul for testing. Complicated. Well, turns out Frank didn't have hepatitis, but does have anemia, which is just hilarious. Hilarious that he still had something, but just not what any of them was expected. But the way that Hawkeye said it was just so funny because he spoke, he lowered his register, he aerated his voice a bit more, which almost made it sound more like, the way you would if you were delivering news about, not necessarily medical news, but like congratulations, it's a boy, congratulations, it's a girl, almost something related to that. I don't know why how I thought that tone. But like I said, I thought the ending scene was also hilarious. Frank and the POW, the no screen, are playing checkers. I wish they said who was winning. Because it would have been funny if the POW, who's no screen, we learned his name. Why is that dropping out of my head? I don't know. But anyhow, it would have been funny if Frank was losing. Because Frank. But so Hawkeye and Trapper act basically nice to Frank, give him flowers, and then say, we want to do a heart transplant, and you're a perfect type, or match, something like that. Which is just hilarious, and Frank gets mad about that. But I do want to address a few downsides in how the humor was handled. Mainly because some of the jokes revolving around Frank were definitely LGBTQ coded, or more actually by the time we probably would have said gay coded, or likely not queer coded, but still. You could definitely see there was some of that going on with some of the humor around Frank, which there's people who have actually talked about that much better than me out on YouTube. If I remember, I'll link it in the description and the cards. But despite that, I still think it's good because the humor still revolves around Frank as a character. One of the most hilarious jokes is where Frank and Margaret are talking about everyone's jealous of them in their wholesome relationship, which is funny because Frank is married and is having an affair with Margaret. So yeah, that's a funny joke because how oblivious they seem to be in that situation to the actual situation. That's why that is funny, even though it's not funny that Frank is cheating on his wife. And there's a few other things revolving around, treatment of women that's not the greatest, like, Hawkeye undressing one of the nurses with his eyes, but at least he acknowledges that it wouldn't be good for him to do it physically, so there's that at least. But those are just my thoughts on Germ Warfare. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching my video. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to give this video a like and share. Also, consider subscribing to my channel to stay up to date on all my latest content. You can also stay up to date on my content by following me on social media. I have a link tree down in the description which has all my social media links on it. Additionally, if you would like to support the channel, you can become a channel member and get early access to all my videos. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. May the force be with you always.